Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bravo. We're Black. I am Kaya. This is Philip. You already know he's one of the unofficial official hosts of Bravo. We're Black at this point. Okay, you guys are loving it that I am testing out, other people to come and chat with me because there comes a time where it's just like, Kaya, shut up. And I'm like, I get it. I get it. And you guys love when Philip is on, especially since I brought Philip on since this whole Ciara Gate thing. And we are here to actually talk about the Queen because she's finally spoken. And it's just so exciting. I'm so happy for her. She looks radiant, elegant, amazing, a good friend, a nurse, a fucking like an anomaly.
Humanitarian, an icon, a diva.
Yes, all of the above. And it's just so good to see her with Glamour magazine. This is her first direct official statements directly from her mouth. Of course, we talked about the rumor that sources say that she was going to accept Wes and Amanda if they are in love. Me and Raven of Bitches Better, shout out to Bitches Better, talked about that. And then we also talked about the Valley and Southern Hospitality. So definitely check out both of our podcasts. And now this is not even around a show. This is literally around an interview and some things that came after. The piece is written by Hunter Harris, who is an amazing writer. Everything that Hunter does is amazing. Also, there were things that were revealed in the Substack where she put the extra things that couldn't be in the article, and that is so dope. So make sure you go subscribe to Hunter's Substack. I love, just first off, just talking about just going into this, that we got a Black woman, period, like to handle this in a magazine, and she is literally the cover of the magazine, and it's just out there. I just love how this was handled. I love the questions that were asked. I love the nuance that was added. I love some of the things that we just like don't even need to speak about. Like, what did you think when you saw that Glamour and Hunter was going to be conducting this interview?
My initial reaction, and I will say that I think I look at things differently from just like being a model and stuff myself. I said a Black woman model with natural hair on the cover of a magazine. You don't see that often. Normally it's slicked, it is down and back, but I think a lot of people haven't really been talking about the hair, but we know for us that's a big deal. Like that's like a really big deal to get the natural, not the curl, but like the wave. Like it wasn't stick straight, it wasn't a wig, it wasn't what, like I was like, okay, we don't see her with the natural hair a lot. And I do believe that that was a very specific choice. I think that it is a more organic, stripped down look for her because she gave us a more organic, stripped down interview. So I know that completely ignores the question at hand, but that actually struck me.
I want
Anything else?
Yeah, that's the first thing that you notice, and that is important to us, especially like in Black culture in general. It's just like, okay, it's someone's birthday, you always see them with like a 40-inch slick back bust down.
Yup.
I'm guilty of it as myself. Sometimes you get a 613, which is a blonde. Like, no, this is a literally like yaki, curly, beautiful, big hair.
Yes.
And especially after I don't know if you saw the debacle where was it the cut? It might have been the cut, or it might have been some other magazine.
Not the cloud
With
bob, not that.
the Cloud Bob. They call it Tracy Ellis Ross's infamous afro, the Cloud Bob. And I'm just like, death to all of them. Like, where's Wendy Williams?
Put the meteorology away. We don't need any cumulonimbus. That is just an afro, y'all. Stop taking it from us. Let us have something. They said, you know what? Instead of us acknowledging and celebrating it as it is, let us turn it into something that we understand. A cloud bop? No, 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 no. Just accept it as it is, maybe. Just like maybe let's all do the education and do the work to just understand it as it is.
And mind you, we are Bob experts over here, especially Aaron. Aaron will literally name a Bob after anything. Like he loves a Bob. He thinks that anytime, like if you have to go to court, you need to get a Bob. If you're breaking up, you need to get a Bob. If you're in your new area, you need to get a Bob. Like we love a Bob here, but sometimes things are what it is, and we need to leave it as that. But yeah, her hair was so beautiful. The makeup was the no makeup look, very
Yes.
brown,
Yep.
warm tones. She also it was in this beautiful like black piece as soon as you open the article. It's just like we know that we're about to get down to business.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, okay, so we start talking about how for her year ahead, the word was community. And that was powerful because obviously for me, I guess I just really did not want this rumor to be true because they were friends and it's not about the man, it's about the friendship. And I kept talking about that with Anna of Gloss Girls podcast. Shout out to that podcast. And just in general, it's like that she was her community. Um her word for the US community. And I feel like when that was confirmed that this is happening, that word like meant nothing to me. It's just like, wow, you're obviously community for us is like the black community, automatically what
Yeah.
you think of.
Hmm.
But when you go beyond race, it's whoever you surround yourself with, whoever you're supposed to feel comfortable with, whoever is supposed to lift you up in your moments of brokenness. And her community did this to her. So it's absolutely insane.
I mean, I'm not in any way surprised that that's kind of her word because if you really look at her character arc, for those of us that have been like consistently watching the show, not just watching because there's like a spotlight on it, but
Right.
consistently watching the show, Ciara came on pretty guarded. The walls were up. And I don't think that's for her specifically. I think as any person of color, myself included, if you watch even my show, episode 1, I don't know who that man was. Like he was
Yep.
reserved, quiet. All the confessionals are like, I don't know what's up with Phillip. He holds his cards pretty close to his chest. And if you know me at all, I don't. But when you enter a new situation, you almost kind of like test it out to be like, is this my vibe, my tribe? And so it did take her a little bit. And so in getting to see her really stress about community, you're getting to watch it on the show in real time and knowing that she had no control over the show that already happened. This was last summer. So she is there for everyone on that show. Newbies, old heads,
Yep.
everybody. She is there as a what I like to call it's kind of weird because she's so empathetic and compassionate, but she still has that like dry, sarcastic Sierra-ness. So like like, but she's still there for it. Every single time she's giving solid advice, she's laughing along with them. There are tears running down her face for Amanda, for all the other things that are happening in the so like that in no way surprises me because for her to say community is my thing that I've really been working on this year, we have the receipts every week to the point now where it's getting awkward to watch the show because she's really so much community based on the show. And we're like, oh, baby, this is not going to age well. Like now it's awkward.
And she's been others' community.
Yes, totally.
And now it's time for other people to be her community. And as I am like broken down about this because how could you do this at the same time as we learn in the article in person, as we even speak right now, we do see that she is also getting her community back. Like the Black Bravo viewers, we have literally been, and still, listen, I am literally on day 20 of 40. Yeah,
Let's go.
we are halfway. Thank you for coming to celebrate day 20 of you know what. And I'll get to that on the next podcast coming up soon. But we've rallied around her more than we've ever rallied around her because she's always had moments of, oh, I see this black woman in me. She's the first black person, period, on Summer House, period. So I mean, we rallied around her then, but now it's just like, oh hell no. Even on Threads, my favorite platform, someone was like, I don't watch Summer House, but I'm hearing that they tried a black woman on there. We right at dawn, okay?
Right, done,
And we
easy.
literally started since then, and people have gotten to know the show, gotten to know her, saw clips of the show, started watching the show, started from the I'm seeing people start from the beginning, even just to become more knowledgeable of who she is as a person. And that's how much black people are surrounding her. And then also we are seeing in real time and also on the show Mia and KJ become close with her, and she is getting her community back that she has been for so many people, whether it was the white people on the show or the black people who come in the show. With Maya, she also had a whole moment in podcast and friendship that we don't forget either. So as sad as I am that her word was community, as I'm speaking about it, I'm realizing it's still there and it's actually stronger than ever.
Yeah, I think that we have to be broken to get put back together again. And I think that that is just kind of how that is what our reality is as just people of color living in a contemporary American society. Like, I'll tell you, I've had a lot of positive things happen to me in my life that have changed kind of how I've seen the world. But if you want to ask me the one event, the one action that split my life into like BC versus like AD was
Yeah,
probably the first time I had someone use the N word toward me, a non person of color, use it toward me and like aggressively. Like when I say like a hard R, like a hard like R or three. And I split my life into how I saw the world before it and after it. Because once I went back to my friends and I said, this happened to me, and I can't believe tears in my eye. I was 22 years old. I remember what I was wearing. I remember that night, the weather, everything. And so when I went back to my social network and I said, this happened to me, can you believe it? And half of them were like, oh my God, that's the worst thing I've ever heard. And the other half was like, well, he was really drunk. And I was like, whoa,
yeah,
wait, stop.
no,
That made me question how any other person, every other interaction I've ever had in my entire life changed after that moment. And so I do think that we all have our own one moment that changes how we see the world and how you go, this is not fair. This is not good. Uh-oh. This and so I think for her, don't get me wrong, I don't wish this upon anyone, but I do wish the kind of support that she is feeling, the kind of community that she's feeling right now. I do wish that moment for everyone. It is just a shame that it does have to come after mistrust and tragedy and people mishandling.
yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry that that happened to you. I think that anytime that happens to a black person, you remember everything about it, and people love to bring up like context and all these like things that like don't matter. And what does matter is who's around you and how they react, because you find out a
Exactly.
lot about them at that moment.
Exactly.
So we get into the article. Hunter writes, after weeks of rumors, two of Miller's closest housemates on Bravo's 9-year-old Hampton set reality show Summer House, her close friend Amanda Batula and her ex-situationship Wes Wilson, confirmed fan speculation that they had begun a relationship. The quote is, we've shown up for each other as friends over the years. Through all the highs and lows, and what's developed recently was the last thing either of us expected, they wrote in matching statements posted to their Instagram stories. Our connection grew out of a genuine, long standing relationship, which made it especially important for us to approach this with care. In 2026, the idea of reality stars dating within their own orbit is less a twist and more of the premise. And it goes to talk about how Summer House is pretty much people hook up with each other in the house. But this is like this, it says surprise isn't the pattern. She compares it to if Selena Gomez left Benny Blanco and started dating Travis Kelsey, which I feel like these are great examples for the white people who are purposely not getting it.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yes.
get it at this point. There's no need for me to try to explain why this is fucked up. No matter, like, at the end of the day, even if you take West and Sierra's relationship, situationship past out of it, this bitch is a married woman. I'll save that for the second part. Never mind. Or if Leah Remini, the longtime best friend of Jennifer Lopez, announced that she and Ben Affleck were in love. And I'm like, that's such a good comparison, too.
Yes. Oh,
Um, so Sierra says it's one thing to experience hurt behind closed doors. To experience it so publicly is like another layer. And then to have to see what you thought was your life still play out. In season 10, it's a major mind fuck. Wild. Yeah, that just thinking about it, like it's different that this is happening in the off season, like just comparing it to Scandival. Like this happened before the reunion and when we were like on the way, at a similar time. Like,
yeah. I did go back and kind of trace it with Scandival, and when that happened, we only really had a few episodes left. Like we didn't have a lot of the season left, and this broke so early. This like got us halfway. So like really this was uncomfortable because now we have to like now we can't watch half the season like that anymore. Like they had to pick cameras back up. Both Carl and Kyle dropped selfies from confessionals a week ago, which means they had to re-pick it up because it's not like they were doing anything for In the City because Carl isn't on that. That's already done. So like he had to. And so in turn, it is awkward. I will say it has been working to Sierra's favor as we knew it would, but still, like that these episodes are only making her look better. So honestly, I'm like, oh baby, oh no, oh no.
it dropped right after the first episode that dropped after it was confirmed. And we were like, look at what we're seeing right now. Look at how she's handling things right now compared to how Amanda's moving. And it's so early that producers are reshaping the show and we're seeing things that, like, I would love to know how the show is going to play out before this broke versus like after this broke. Like, what are we missing? Were they really going to focus and hone in on a different storyline, or what is it? But either way,
I'm assuming it was going to be way more on the divorce, but I mean, to be honest, it's about time that Sierra becomes main character energy. Okay, becomes a main character anyway, because she's always had main character energy. Don't get me wrong. I love her and Paige together, but I think Paige not being there actually helped her. And so for me, I'm like, yeah, guys, like when everyone's like, did you guys know Sierra? I was like, that's been my girl since day one. So yes, of course.
yeah, we just like get her. So they just go on to just talk about the show and how the show is airing and how we see Sierra show up for Amanda in the show, and we also see how West is moving in the show. Hunter asked why she waited until the interview to speak up, which it's the smartest thing ever. Like, you don't go to when something this big happens and you're already on that rise to the top, like we've already talked about. She was already on the red carpet. She was already near Jacob Elordi. She was already, at these things, even that Euphoria thing. As much as we would love to say that we wish that into existence, that was something that was already on Sierra's roster, and it just happened at the perfect time, really. But anyways, she said that I want to do it in my way, in a way that feels more intentional than just a podcast or a comment under a picture. A woman. She goes to talk about how we see Sierra talking about buying her grandfather's house, which is an amazing storyline. Would love a spinoff of her fixing it up.
True.
We're watching her talk about it in the show, talk about it with her mom, talk about how her dad doesn't even know that she bought it, and just having conversations about generational wealth and all these different things at the perfect time. In the middle of a personal maelstrom, Miller seems ready to move on and let go of what she can't control. The quote is from Sierra: just know when something's weird in your gut, there's a reason. what's done in the dark always comes to light. And sometimes you really don't even have to do anything except sit back and let the universe handle it all. And my God, is that not the truest thing that she has said this entire time? Because what people don't understand, you might not believe in karma or God or the universe or whatever it is, it's all the same thing. What happens happens, and you are going to find out about it exactly when you need to find out about it, and it will come out. It's not going to be this. It, it's just you can't stop what destiny has in store for you, and you can't stop what is going to heal or what hurt you or hurts you, and when it's going to heal or hurt you. It's going to come out at the right time, and literally I bet Amanda and Wes had this whole like grand plan that they were working on, and God said, "Ah, nah, let me show you something right now, because if you're gonna be out there acting stupid and not even really having any kind of decorum, you're gonna be spotted on the West Coast, spotted on the East Coast, spotted in Miami. You're gonna be at dinners. You're gonna be holding hands under the desk. You're gonna like all these things that don't make no damn sense. It's gonna come out, and the way that it came out was just so I would lose my mind. Like I don't know if I would be a Sierra in this. I would like to think that I would be a Sierra in this, but the way that it came out was just so crazy. But when you think about it, it's like, oh, it had to be this way. If you really sit down and you reflect on things, it's like, no, because if I would have, been the one to put it out, it would have I would have looked like the bad guy. Or if I would have, kept pushing on it, they would have been more in secret, and maybe this wouldn't have happened. You just, even though it's probably like every girl's like worst nightmare or unthinkable, you think about it and you're like, no, like everything happened exactly the way that it needed to, as messy as it was.
Yeah, I think that it really, the fact that Sierra didn't, again, go to call her daddy immediately or start commenting on photos or doing all that stuff. Like, I mean, like the sheer fact that she just let them sink their own ship because that's pretty much what they did. And so she said, you know what? I'm gonna just let y'all handle it. And without her saying anything and them over explaining it and then giving us weird joint statement, we were like, oh no, this is bad. This is real, real bad. And I think that it just speaks to Sierra's character that the only thing that she said, while I have a spotlight on me, let me highlight the idea of trans rights and let me highlight Girl Scouts because those are two big networks of people that never get a spotlight. And so if I have it, trust me, I don't really want it right now, but if I have it, I'm gonna use it for something useful. And I think that there is, I was having this conversation with someone the other day. I was like, the idea that Black people specifically are so much so champions for every other marginalized group. And I cannot speak for everyone, and I don't intend on it. But the idea of like that I personally have such great empathy for women, for Latinos, for people that are neurodivergent, for people that are on the autism. Like, I don't care what the group is. I refuse to let the world punch down on that group because I know what it's like to be in that group. And I think that that is so ingrained in us to just have a good, strong sense of human rights in general because we are not always offered them. And so I feel like it's one of those where, like, if there's a protest, tell me what it is on the way. Hit me up at 3, make me a sign. I don't care. I'll go. Because like for me, I just think that we love to stand up for others because we have always experienced people not standing up for us. So I do love the idea that she was like, this is how I'm gonna use my platform instead of being like, men suck. I hate that. Like it's just that's not the vibe.
No, I totally agree, and it's completely true, because as much as there's this movement obviously called the 92% and the 78%, I believe it's for black men. It's like, yo, don't ask us for shit until 2028 because we did our fucking part. And whatever you got going on is literally your fault because when those numbers fucking came out, white women is specifically, y'all showed y'all ass. And you didn't think that this was going to happen to you. But at the same time, black women in general, we're still as much as we're like, this ain't got nothing to do with me. That's him. Oh, we don't care. We still are fighting for everyone else's rights. It's like I should be the last, and that's why I don't understand the thinking of we can only be supporting one group or one cause at the same time. I don't understand that because I am literally the last person in line to be thought of. I'm black first, I'm a woman second, and third, I'm disabled. So it's like I'm literally nothing to the world. Yet I will always use my voice. I will always speak up, even if my voice shakes. I don't give a damn. I'm going to be there for someone who is being done wrong. And that is literally Ciara in this storm. It's like, okay, so what can I do to bring some light into other people's life? And also, it will also make her feel better. Like, you know what? I had all these 100,000 eyes on me anyway, child. So just let me delete the text message and let me delete the notes app and let me just reiterate and recenter the attention to somewhere else. And trust me, I'm going to speak up for myself. I'm going to gather my thoughts first. I'm going to wipe my own tears and I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to do this in such a classy way, and it's really going to be something that is more impactful than just for shits and giggles than going out to a baseball game.
I mean, okay, wait. I have a shady question for you. Let's talk about the Hermes photo of it all.
Yeah.
So, in reading the article, Ciara said she knew the statement was coming out. She got a heads up 24 hours in advance
Mm,
and then 45 minutes in advance from
mm.
two different parties. Which do you think was which?
Oh,
I know. I don't have an answer either, but I have played around with both of them and been like, "Ooh, I don't know," because these other two, they move really inconsistently. So like I don't even know if I could say for sure who was the 45 and who was the 24.
I think probably Amanda was the 24 and Wes
Okay.
the 45 because Amanda is the one who put the statement up, had it written, whatever, and then he didn't even type it himself. He just screenshotted or downloaded hers because
There.
hers
Okay.
was from create mode. So she's
Okay, cool.
sat there and she typed it out.
Or had Chat GPT do it, but either way, okay, I'll take it. Mhm. Sure.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
she's definitely a clanker. Um, and then but at the same time, she didn't know what it was going to say.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So yeah, I would say, what do you think if you had to just guess?
I would assume. See, most of me wants to say that Amanda told her the day before. But you also know Amanda, who's also, if the more you watch the show, Amanda is very a female version of West, where like, does Amanda have the gall, the gumption, the balls to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna be honest and upfront. We see how even on the show, the confessionals are giving us a very different energy than what happens in real life. And so in turn, we're like, we saw Ben confront you and you cried. And then in the confessional, you have all this stuff to say. So, like, I don't know if Amanda actually has that energy to be like, hey, listen, here's what's going down. I'm letting you know it's happening tomorrow, just so at least you have that heads up. Or was Wes at least like, well, I guess I should let her know. And then he's like, Amanda, you have to tell her. And just like, but I don't know if I want. I'm like, tell her.
Mhm.
So, like, I don't know which one is which is scary almost.
That's yeah, because we are getting to know. Mandy, because I heard that she hates that name. We're
Not the
gonna know
man.
Mandy
Oh
all
no,
over again.
not a man.
Because we realize that we don't know her. And it's like, damn, you are making Kyle Cook look good. And if you're making Kyle Cook look good, you have got to be doing something
I almost bought a Loverboy sweatshirt. Get out of here. Who? Why?
right.
Why? For what? No, no.
Yeah,
I almost did, and I was like, absolutely not. But like, yeah,
back and think about it. But like when it
I
came
consider
out,
it.
it's like Carl's a mess.
Right. I was like, do I need a Carl's a mess hat? And I was like, no, stop it. But like, still, they
Like,
made me really considerate, and I hate that.
yeah, it's insane. And it's also, well, we'll get into that later on.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, she did like the Euphoria thing. She did the Your Friends and Neighbors um red carpet, and she did the Sephora promo, which was Sephora actually rewards loyalty. And I'm like,
Well,
oh my
well,
God. I was like, yes.
it's
I'm like,
true.
give me some of the points.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong.
So she's asked, how does it feel that season 10 of Summer House is airing? Ciara says it's a milestone season, incredibly proud of everyone on the cast, but season 10, stakes are high. It's very evident that I was in a different place for season 10. We'll credit that to Prozac. I want to stop and talk about Black people, mental health, and medicine, medicating it. Like that's such a huge thing that obviously it wasn't even 24 hours before Kyle was saying, "Oh my God, Amanda's mental health. Please think about Amanda at this time. She was manipulated by this guy. Who were all the people following West? What's going on with that? That. Amanda was turned into the victim less than 24 hours. And that's really why I definitely didn't buy that damn hoodie because I'm like, no, 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 no. Okay, you want me to feel bad for Amanda? I understand that that's your wife. I understand that y'all are white, and that's how it go. But what about Sierra's mental health? What the fuck is that about? And I understand from his perspective, he was a shitty husband, and you have West here, who he thought was his friend, basically manipulating her, but she wasn't manipulated because it's literally like a choice,
Right.
manipulating her in his eyes because he saw how many other women West was in fact talking to other bitches at the same time. So he's like, you know what? And she probably was giving him the white woman tears. Like, I don't know what to do. And Sierra, our friendship is basically over. And I didn't mean for this to happen. And yada, 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 bitch. Fuck you. Um, but in the Black community, it's just hard to, especially publicly, talk about mental health. And Sierra's done that. And also getting help. People will be like, you know what, I'm not feeling good, I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm angry, whatever the case may be. But I'm talking about like actually going to a therapist or even just a psychiatrist and getting medicated. And then when you do that, not just doing that, but also openly speaking and letting people know I am medicated for my mental health.
Yeah, I think that I have really enjoyed kind of watching Sierra's journey, especially I did clock it. I want to say it was at like BravoCon was the first time where they, or was it Reunion last year where they're like, we're noticing a big change in you. And she's like, I'm medicated now. I'm medicated. We're great. It was her and oops. Anyway, but anyway, still, I think that there was a big switch there. And I don't think we do talk about this enough. And as someone that has been through it all, like actually as a part two, a continuation of the situation I was talking about earlier. So that's
Yeah.
spiraling. And so then I was diagnosed with anxiety, depression. I was self-harming every night just to go to bed because the anxiety was so bad. And so they had to medicate me. I had been to the emergency room. I started therapy out of nowhere. And my Caribbean immigrant parents just didn't get it. And I don't say that to talk anything negative about them. They are my world. They are my people, but they just don't get it. The same way that in elementary school, I said, Johnny's having a sleepover. And my mom said, I moved to America for you to go sleep on somebody's floor. And I was like, well, I
That,
mean, that's not really exactly how it worked, but like she just didn't get it. And so like they didn't get it. And they just
yeah,
I was lucky enough to experience all of this away at college among other young people that did get it. But when I came home and had panic attacks there, my dad was like, just calm down. I was like, oh, baby, you don't
thank
like,
you.
they don't get it. They don't get it.
Yeah,
And I'm like, but you're diagnosed with depression, just be happy. Like, are you unhappy? I'm like, I mean, yeah, but like it's a chemical imbalance. Like so I had to actually explain what
yeah,
the medication does. And then they were like, oh, okay. And I was like, heads up, it's also probably hereditary. Anyway, but like at the same time, it's one of those things where like people of color don't get that. The idea that I was diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and ADHD after 20 years old. I was like, this is probably not great. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad that I know now, but at the same time, I, that's not like
for Black people, that's
we have.
literally right around the time because that's when you're out on your own. So
Yep. And you're like, something's wrong. There's a red flag immediately.
yeah, because you're around people who are already medicated, already diagnosed, no, probably clock shit before you do. And you're like, well, no, because my mom told me that, like you have food, you have clothes, so you have all you need. Like
Right.
my mom told me that there are starving children in other places. Like my mom told me you're being spoiled. Like, like it's just, and it's literally because my mom's from the South and
Got it.
Sierra from the South. Southern parents, Caribbean parents, like they, and it's also like they've gone through so much unmedicated.
Truth.
They were living in different eras where they were actually able to either call themselves out and experience part of the American dream, or they have just tucked it in their and trained their bodies to kind of ignore what's happening. So I'm so glad that you were able to literally not only just get that diagnosis for yourself, but also educate your parents on it who, they didn't really understand that. Like people don't understand that mental illness is literally just like physical illness. Invisible illness is it's still there. And it's so hard to get people from either another era, another place, another time, like to understand that. So it's especially for um someone that's on TV also, because it's like don't be telling everyone your business on TV. Like the whole world is going to know that you are crazy. That's what it is. They knock things off and they say, "Oh, he's a little special," or oh, she's crazy or this person is slow. Like, no, this person is autistic. This person has ADHD. This person, even you telling me this, I can probably diagnose you without a damn degree right now. But, whatever. You kind of have to sometimes get out of the house and into the wild to see that you are not living at your best. And it's just the stigma behind it.
I think that I, you know, you're at the family function and everybody's auntie's like, he's a little touched, and you're like, oh, okay.
No,
Like, we don't do the actual diagnoses.
right.
It's like the
Right.
grandmas don't die from diabetes. They got the sugars, and we just leave it alone. Like, we don't hit it. We just don't like talk in medical terms. And so, in turn, it is really refreshing to see both Sierra, Mia and KJ come in with emotional and psychological baggage. I think that every black character on Summer House has, but I do
Yeah.
appreciate the fact that the Bravo editors are weaving it into the story because I am a firm believer that we were not done justice in,
Yeah.
let's say, the edit of Cabby, of Maya, of
Yeah.
Emerald, who's out here starting a school and shit. We didn't even know that. I was like, what? Like, we
Why did
weren't
we
given
not?
that information. Right. So I think it is a matter of like, I do respect the fact that they came in so loud and proud that Bravo had no other option. The editors were like, well, we have to use it because if we don't tell that story of Mia's parents and all this other stuff, then nothing else about her will make any sense. So like at least I do love the fact that they were like, well, they gave us no other option. And that's how I went on my show. I
That's
was like, I
what
gotta slam them over the head with it so that they understand.
exactly. You put that so special. And I also just want to say, like, that's why I keep telling people, like, I'm always going to fight for representation. Representation matters so much, and there is power in numbers. It's like, okay, we got a black person on the cast. What are you talking about? Or we even got two black people on the cast. What are you talking about? Like, okay, 2 out of 10. Like, what are we gonna do? Why is it on? It seems like Bravo has a two black person limit when it comes to mixed casts, whether it's Real Housewives of Miami, whether it is I don't know, New York, like Summer House, and it's just like, okay, damn. That's why I was so excited. Even earlier this year, people keep liking that thread, which listen, I'm what y'all would call touched. Like as soon as I saw that commercial, my instant thought, and I didn't have, I never met an intrusive thought that I didn't put out there. I put niggas on Summer House,
Mhm. Get out of here. Who let us in there? Who let us in?
niggas, and I literally just went crazy. I was started posting like black people dancing, black joy, just like all that because if we weren't even talking about this, it would still be so fun and so beautiful and so amazing to see what we're seeing now with KJ, with Mia, with Ciara, just like black people existing and being there for one another, both on and off camera. Um, so yeah, so she said we'll credit that to Prozac. Shout out to the Prozac girlies. Shout out to the Wellbutrin girlies. Shout out to all the girlies. I have anxiety and I do everything but go to therapy. But I think this year that I might have to go to therapy because I feel like people are trying me, and it gets to a certain point where it's like, okay, you have to get it under control, or you're going to end up,
Or you gonna hurt somebody's feelings. And so it's
yeah,
just easier that way. It's just easier.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Later on though. So she's talking about being 30, which is a big milestone for like a lot of people. Like she said, I am 30, don't tell anybody. People are like, you're going to love your 30s. And I'm like, when? We're 3 months in. Usually I hide on my birthday. For my 30th, and this is important, my friends were insistent that I do something. My mom flew in and a friend threw me a small birthday dinner. One of my friends made everyone go around the table and say something nice about me. Child. She also later on says that she invited both Amanda and Wes to her birthday dinner. And guess who showed up? Wes. Mind you, her
Mm.
she's a Capricorn. Her birthday is literally, I think, a couple days after mine. I'm December 23rd. I think she's like December 28th or something like that. Wes
Yes, because hers is right before mine, and I'm New Year's Eve. Yeah.
and Wes is a middle Capricorn.
We are rough. We are rough, rough, rough. I know.
And that's why I'm like, everyone here knows what they're doing except Amanda. No shade to Aquarius, is no shade at all, but let me talk about that another day. That's the astrology episode we'll have to have.
Yep.
But Wes came and they talked about what they needed for each other to be friends again. And they said, don't, no sleeping with someone from Bravo. And it's like, you would imagine that I would read that and be like, oh, Wes broke that rule. I'm still on Amanda's ass. I'm sorry. It's just like, no, you know that Wes is fucking Wes. But okay. So Hunter asked her about Community being your word of the year. She says, what a year for it, but I think everything's right on time. Whether it's how I thought it would play out, I think in the past 5 years, I kind of lost my sense of community. Coming into my 30s, I really want to gain that back. That's part of the reason me and Mia live in the same building. It's been so nice to have a really good friend to depend on for different things. It reinforces that you cannot do this alone. I told her at my birthday dinner that moving into the same building was one of the best decisions that I ever made. I truly think it saved my life. And they're like, not only are they on the show together, they literally live in the same building. So they're in New York, obviously, so the cast is there. But I'm just loving that she has black friends, and
Yeah.
then also she has Paige, and she
Hmm.
has Hannah. Like she has community there, and it's just good to know. And I also if you're not from like a tight knit family, like my family, we used to be tight back in the day, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But I live with my best friend. So that is like very important to me. And like that's also why it hits differently because I'm like, damn, I expect so much from my best friends
Yeah.
because they are who is in my space. They are who has replaced, especially in your 20s and 30s, until you get your own family, like whoever you surround yourself with is your
Yes.
family. And
Hmm.
I get close to I don't really I have the same people like in my life for so long. I think that's how Capricorns are. But like when you find someone who you gel with and you have to be with all the time, you consider this person like I will die for you. Like I will literally be there for you. Like how we're seeing her be there for Mia on screen, how we're seeing her be there for Amanda on screen. That's how I am with my friends who are also my family. So I'm so glad that she's surrounded by all this love, whether it be Paige, whether it be Mia, whether it be, people who we don't know. She was also at the Watch What Happens Live that Mia was at.
Yes. Which
So that
I love the fact that she was there and refused to be on camera because it was not her night. I think that says a lot about her as well. Be like, no, 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 I'm here, but like, I'm just her auntie in the back being like, yay, Mia, but like, I don't want to be there, like in the audience and shit. Like, she was like, no, 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 I want to support her because she's anxious and nervous, but I don't need to make this about me. And I think it really does. I just want to rewind just because if you go back and listen to how Sierra supports Amanda in talking about the Kyle situation, the Ben
yep,
situation, all that other stuff. I think it's easy for a girl to just look at another girl and be like, he's trash. That's a bad man or whatever. And but if you listen to her words, instead of tearing Kyle down, she hypes Amanda up. And I think
yep,
that we all have to acknowledge that that's not the same. The idea that Kyle is an asshole, we knew that. America knows that. We've been here for 10 years. But the idea that she said, no, 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 here's the thing, you're worth more than this. And so right now you need to remember what the kind of respect that you deserve and the kind of life that you deserve to almost empower Amanda from within. Because again, you can always teach Amanda to survive without Kyle. But it's the idea of like, how can she survive like in any situation to like build Amanda up instead of just being like, well, this is a bad relationship and you need out of it. It would be easy to just be like, so get a divorce. And she's like, no, no, no. Number one, you need a divorce. That's easy. But number two, after the divorce, you still need to be able to look in that mirror and say, you cannot accept more if you are too busy settling for less. I give that advice a lot in my
yeah.
class, in the world, whatever else. I'm like, no, no, no. If you have all your energy and everything tied up in settling for no less, the Lord can't give you more because there's no room.
Yes, that is so, so true. And that's exactly what we're seeing her do. And it's also the kind of friend that I'm used to and that you probably are too. We see her not only build her friend up, but we're also like, I'm such a planner. Like she's like, come to my house. Like I'm offering you my home. Come, stay with me. Get your head together. Figure out what you want. Separate from this man and be by yourself and figure that out. And even Mia, who is just literally joining this group, is like, yeah, you can literally stay with me too. Like, my God, you literally invite this bitch into your home. Literally, it's trying to plan. Like, you get a divorce. You don't have to worry about where you need to stay. You don't need to worry about, being alone. None of that. You are never alone. As long as I am here for you. And that's so fucking important to have and to be in a friend and to be around someone. that you love. And for them to do this, it's just hard to get through this interview without even just like trying to get into that. You guys, this is about Ciara. Most of this is about Ciara, and that's why I'm trying to separate a lot from it. But obviously, it matters because that's why we're having this conversation. So she asked, between Wes and Amanda, who were you closer to? Obviously, Ciara goes, definitely Amanda. But I feel like West and I were working on our relationship because we are exes. Sometimes you spin the block. Sometimes you land in situations where you guys are out. I feel like there's room to do that if that's your ex. And that answers that, period. Like, unless you guys have all been perfect and you have never like fucking spun the block and you just like deal with someone and that's just it, like, you, it's perfectly normal to go back to someone. Me personally, once you show your ass to me like that once, I can't do it. Me personally, but we're all different people. She will go on to say, I do feel like I was closest to Amanda at that particular time, but I also know she probably wasn't going to come to my birthday dinner because you know the rule with her. She wants to be invited, but she doesn't necessarily want to come, which is fine. I'm totally the same way. I appreciate the invite, but I don't want to go, which is so same.
Every millennial, every like, no, 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 I want to be invited, but like,
Yes.
I don't want to. You want me to get dressed and go somewhere and then have to talk to strangers all night? No, I'm not doing that. I don't want that.
She said, I invited him and he came. I felt like we were trying to move on into a more positive direction since we hadn't spoken to each other in 2 years. I felt like we were actually starting to be friends again. And we had a lot of conversation about, okay, what do I need from you? What do you need from me? What are some of the boundaries that I want to keep in place? What's going to make our friendship a lot easier? One of the boundaries was no more sleeping with people on Bravo. Obviously, now that's out of the window. At the end of the day, we were genuine friends, which I think what made it so hurtful when everything kind of went south and what I needed to take time after. She asked, does she feel like Amanda is jealous of you? Which she is. But Ciara says, jealousy is such a weird concept to me. I honestly don't know. I don't know. That's a question for her. I kind of love that question. I love how she answered it too. She wasn't like, oh, I don't know. Like, ask her. Because if you look at it, everything about this not only says jealous, it says single white female.
I mean, it's hard because we've always just, and I hate to go down the Amanda road, but I'll make it a short trip. We've always known Paige as the fashion girl. And even from the beginning, even though we've always known here as like Pages plus one, we haven't because we're still like, did you know that she was a nurse during COVID? And then like, we know like very specific things about her. What do we know about Amanda? We were like, do you know she's from New Jersey? We met her dad once. Like we still don't actually know anything about Amanda. We just know things about people in proximity to her. And so I do think whether Amanda thinks she's jealous or not, we can admit that like Amanda doesn't have a lane per se. She's always been Kyle's wife that he's cheating on, or this one's friend, or that like she's always been known in proximity to other people. So whether she wants to admit it or not, she doesn't really have like a lane. The only lane she had was like swimwear, and then she put out a small collection, and then what? So like overall, I was like, so what are we doing here?
Yeah. No, that's literally a perfect summation of what we know about her. Um, what bonded you to Amanda initially? She says, I'm trying to think back to the first summer in the house. Amanda just felt like a very calm spirit initially. She was someone I always felt comfortable talking to. She always felt like a non judgmental figure to go to. No wonder she's non judgmental because look at what she does. Okay.
Well,
Um,
well,
she says, I'd like to know who you feel has betrayed you more, West or Amanda. And this is my thing. Ciara says, at the end of the day, a guy's a guy. Whether or not West and I are working on a relationship, you just can't put anything across a man. But I just never would think that it would come from someone like Amanda, who has been what felt like in my circle and in my corner for so long. That is the craziest part. She gets asked, watching you defend her to Kyle this season, and she interrupts, I fought with your own husband to advocate for you. I have championed you. I have tried to be there in different ways for you and help you and get you everything to see. Oh, and get you to see value in yourself. And so to be disregarded in such a disrespectful way is honestly, I'm at a loss for words sometimes. This shit is like real, real. Okay, she goes to ask her, "How are you feeling right now at this moment?" So this is a few weeks after. It's only been out what 20 days, so
Yeah.
literally like 2 weeks after. I'm just trying to make it to the reunion at this point. Every day changes. It's like a weird flow of what you thought the past couple of years of your life looked like and what you thought relationships were versus what they actually are. It's tricky. One of my friends was like, "You're going to shed a lot of friends in your 30s, but that's to gain more clarity." And damn, she was right. The Hunter was like, "That friend knows." Speaking of the reunion, it takes soon. How do you feel going into it? Ciara says the reunions are always mental warfare. Filming a reality TV show and then sitting at a reunion 8 months later is not normal. It's not real life. It's you having to remember everything you said or give a reason for why you said everything you said. I'm a bit nervous. Hunter asks, "This is something I've always wondered about Bravo reunions. When do you find out your seat assignment?" Which I love that we get some inside tea. She goes, "The morning of, when you get to the studio, and even when you're getting ready, you still don't know. Not until a couple of minutes before you're going to walk out on stage, and then they tell you." She gets asked, "Who do you want to sit next to this year?" She says, "That's a tough question. You get to sit next to your friends. In the past, I've sat next to Paige. There's also something about the chapter of sitting by yourself and being able to hold your ground. Not that I'm okay with sitting by myself, but I feel like I'm more comfortable sitting by myself if I have to be. I would love to sit next to Mia or Lindsay or Carl or KJ. But at the same time, I'm not really thinking too much about the seating arrangement because I know that this is a moment for me to stand my ground wherever I'm sitting." Period.
Okay, I have a lot to okay,
Yes,
let's
please.
start with this one. Let's start with this one. The idea that we blame Amanda Moore, and I do want to throw this out there. There's gonna be a hot take and people are gonna be real mad at me or this, but I don't care. I'm gonna tell you.
That
I think that we have to stop holding such a low bar for men, the idea that you're like, well, he's a guy. And I'm like, as a male who is, I am not going to say perfect or anywhere near it, but I will say that has emotional intelligence. I hold my male and female friends in the same regard as far as I'm like, you didn't know that? Like, you didn't think to like reach out or what? Like that for me, I think emotional intelligence should surpass gender, and I think that brings us into like a certain level of misogyny and gender roles of being like, well, they got a dick, so you can't trust them. I'm like, what? No, 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 we're not doing this anymore. I think in this age, we all have access to mental health resources and therapy and like, I don't know, growing up and knowing the difference between right and wrong. So like, don't get me wrong. Do I think Amanda is more to blame because she was closer to Sierra and there was a time in the past 2 years where Sierra and West didn't speak? Yes. But the idea of like, well, he's a guy, we need to stop that right now. Because as a guy on the other end of that spectrum, we're allowed to have emotional intelligence and we should have emotional intelligence. If I screw up, let me know. And don't say, well, he's allowed to screw up because he's a guy. No, I messed up and that's okay. I'm allowed to mess up because we're both people and we're just kind of navigating things as best as we can. That's my number one. My number two, in a shadier way, I've run this a million different ways in my head. Who do we think is getting first seat at the reunion? First seat?
Well, I feel like automatically Sierra and Amanda.
But like, do we think it's gonna be but like, I was also thinking like an Amanda Kyle split, or like I like wasn't sure how they were gonna do it because so many different people involved for different reasons. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because there was that whole. Well, wait. Let me get your first thing out of the way. That is such a valid and real and like that's something that should be said, and that's something that should be followed. But I don't think that I'm saying, oh, you just can't trust men. And well, yeah, I do say that a lot. But
You're like, well, actually, though.
yeah, like I'm not gonna lie to you. But like in this situation, I think it's like I know West's character. I see what he does. I saw what he did, and I see what he continues to do. So I saw him sit there and say that he feels all these things about Sierra, and then he goes, breaks her heart, and then he goes, writes an article, and then he goes and he does all these things. And I'm like, okay, so this is and when I say men, I always say straight men, like nothing that they do, well, no, I get surprised sometimes, but it's just
See? I was surprised.
expected. But it's not that I'm just like, I'm not giving them a pass. It's just that one, even if you weren't my best friend, you're a woman. So like you should know the way that that feels. So I'm expecting for you, especially when people are like, I'm coming to you as a woman. It's like, as much as I don't want to hear that, I understand what you mean because
Fair.
women, we share that kinship and that, like, but that what long story short, straight men, that's kind of like what they do. And it's not just straight men, all straight men or whatever. Yes, like straight men need to get it together. Y'all need to see what the fuck you're doing, get medicated, or just get some common sense. Take some fucking accountability. They love to say women never can take accountability. Take accountability. We need to hold straight men to higher standards, but we keep trying to do that and they fail every time. So that's why it's just like West is West. We saw how he showed his ass last time, but this bitch, you are crying in my arms, and that's what kind of what it is. But you make a great point. We need to start doing it. It's just hard to do so because every single test that we put at them, they keep failing.
Fair.
And every time I refer to men as men, I'm men talking about straight men, more specifically, straight white men.
Well,
Um,
we have built an entire universe and reality network off of them. Yes,
exactly.
agree. Listen, they will never have me feel in a certain way about Jesse Solomon that will last longer than 3 minutes. The amount I am a human emoji watching that man. I'm like, oh no. And then I'm like, okay. And I'm like,
So,
and
if
then I'm like, no,
let's say you
not that.
get it.
I can't figure him out still.
No, that's a good point because if I'm looking at the episodes and I'm just like, if Jesse can understand this, why not West? I turned into a caveman myself. Like, if Jesse understand, why no West?
And then Jesse does some weird shit and you go, oh, okay, there, and we're back. Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They will never make me have a consistent opinion on Jesse Solomon. We share a last name, but that is about it.
And I share the last name with West. And I ask you guys, please call him Worst Wilson because he's the worst. Or just, call him smelly, stanky, ugly, whatever you want to call him, because he's all.
Let's do it.
But your second thing, the seating chart, it's gonna be Amanda Sierra. Um, Kyle, he is no longer like uh supposed to be like by his wife, which is crazy to me. It has to be Wes.
So you think like Amanda West on one side and Sierra and Kyle on the other?
No, because at the same time, we still got Kyle out here trying to get us to feel bad for Amanda. And at the same time, I'm having to understand that Kyle has a fucking show to save. This bitch done fucked up in the city. Like, what are we doing? We have to sit through in the city knowing that this bitch was West since God knows when. We still can't pinpoint when they got together.
You know that Andrew
So
is about to ask it. That's going to be number one.
he better. And I'm like, okay, so if they put him on one side, it's like, is he on their side? But is he only on that side because he is married to Amanda? Or if they put him on the other side, is he really gonna like bring the heat to the other side of the couch? I think it has to. Ooh,
See, there's a million different ways you can work it out, and either they all work or none of them work. You're like, wait, actually, that can't work either. So I'm assuming from what I have seen via social media, him and Wes can't be on the same side. I think there's actual anger there.
yeah.
I'm gonna let that happen. But and Amanda and Sierra, can't. But like again, I'm with you as far as like Kyle is technically also kind of still supporting Amanda, but not really. And so like it does get weird. I know that it won't be Levi. Mm.
I'm like, who?
Yeah. Excuse me, who is that? Yep. Yep.
Levi and Bailey are really. I mean, Bailey, she's out or whatever.
Oh, Billy.
No,
You
I
you
love
leave
her,
my girl alone.
but I need her to be more vocal. I need her to come out and be like, well, like, whose side are you on, and what have you seen, and what do you know? Like, that's what I need from Bailey. But
That's fair.
Sabrina literally is jumped in the chat, and we only knew her 2 episodes.
I I
Dude,
I love the fact
Eric
that
commented on Sabrina's post, and I'm like, Sabrina, we might need to bring Sabrina out.
Sabrina thinks she's going to the reunion. So Sabrina said, "I'll see you at BravoCon next year on the panel." Like I don't know, like, but like that's the kind of energy that I love. That she's like, "Hey guys, I'm here now." We're like, "Who are you?" She goes, "Sabrina. It's very nice to meet you." But like done. And then she was like, "I know." Also on the cast, and we're like, "But Tara looks exactly like you." And she's like, "But I'm wearing a choker. I'm here." And you're like, what? Okay. Like, it's the weirdest vibe, but I kind of love that. That she was like, I decided I'm also now on the show.
Because it's also like, where's Mia gonna sit? So I need Ciara to be by Mia, but at the same time, Lindsay needs to get in that ass, so she needs to be in proximity to Amanda. So this isn't
Listen, my hot take is also this, and this is another one that is unpopular. But to be honest with you, the sheer fact that I know Lindsay has been championing Ciara as of late, the original person to not acknowledge Ciara's history and her feelings in general was Lindsay, but we're not clocking that still. So that's fine. We could just let her live. But at the same time, remember Ciara and Austin. And so in turn, and then Lindsay said, "Well, it's my birthday, so I'm going to make out with you." And we were like, maybe don't. But like
oh, I dropped.
the
She
first,
inboxed me,
right.
but we're putting that away because we need as many people to jump Amanda as possible.
Her support right now. But what I'm saying is, if you check the history,
She's a part of the problem.
she's a part of the problem. And like that is not to say that you can't be a part of the problem, recognize it and move on and be like, "Oh, I've evolved now, that's fine." But if you're not going to acknowledge the initial, I think that is the issue, that everyone is willing to say Ciara's name when it comes to supporting her, but never willing to admit any wrongdoing with her name in it. And that's what I think Ciara's main issue was, of being like, to do that statement and not say anyone's name at all is like, "Hello, I'm right here. I'm right here." And so if you
You
want to
don't.
apologize, right, like it's just, I think that's I think that's how we close out this episode. The idea that just people of color want to be acknowledged and respected and seen because we contribute a lot. And so we are screaming in this show and in this world, "I am here." That is all we need.
Yep. And the last few things that they talk about is what we talked about earlier is that what was your last conversation with Amanda like? She said minimal. And she said, because that's something that I'll talk about at the reunion. She then asked about the heads up. She got one less than 24 hours, and then one was 45 minutes before. And she said that she read it with the rest of the world. There's something about the lack of being able to say each other's names in the statement that I found very telling, but I don't know. Um, she talks about obviously her history with the Girl Scout troop and how she came upon, deciding what to post it and when to post it. Uh, and then she talks about her relationship with KJ and Mia and the conversation. She says it's funny what's shocking and surprising to them and what's not shocking and surprising to us. I think there's a lack of awareness of how people of color and Black people have to move around this world, and it's not fucking fair. She talks about her dad. She says the older you get, the blacker you get. My God.
Literally, though, if 21-year-old me could see me now, he'd be like, "Yo, you got black as hell." I'm like, I had to. I didn't have another option.
Exactly. You don't notice it when you're a kid, but the older you get, the more you'll start to notice the nuances of your relationships with people, how they treat you, how they value you, how they see you or don't see you in a scenario. People can say that it has nothing to do with race, but I think that's the crux of it. It has everything to do with race. Why is it that I'm so much more disposable than another person? It's just talking about watching her back on camera and like the whole idea of her being guarded and aggressive or strict or whatever. And she's just like, well, you see everyone yelling, you see Kyle's yelling, Carl's yelling. Everyone is also yelling. So why am I much more scary than any of the guys yelling? How is it that I'm already getting labeled as scary and intimidating? She talks about dating interracially. She said that's a whole other layer, the nuances of interracial dating and how much of a mind fuck it can be. Not only do you have to figure out who this person fucking voted for, you have to figure out like, okay, you're attracted to me, you like me, but do you like people that look like me? Because I'm just one person, but would you really advocate for all of us? That to me is important and vital because I don't want to be the exception to your rule at all. And then she talks about what I talked about and what I also noticed when Wes first came on this show. When he came in there, there was the most black people that we've ever seen at the summer house, other than Marcus Vineyard.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of made her feel a little bit more safe. And she basically confirms that. She said, I think in the beginning, to know that a person is interculturally mixed with a lot of different types of people is reassuring. When I date white guys and they only have white friends, that to me is scary. It's nice when you're dating a white guy and they have black friends and they have friends that look different from them. We were able to have a productive and really great conversation when we were together. And that is something that definitely led me to feeling safe in the relationship with Wes. The rest of it is just basically like her thriving and being asked about whether she would do the Bachelorette. She said basically no.
Absolutely no,
And
no,
I don't think that she
no.
should ever, like I said it on the first, no, what the fuck? She said she's way too private. Um, and they talk about, you know, how people are judging her taste in men. And she's like, well, I'm getting labeled like as this slut when I've only dated two people. You've seen me date two people. And I think that's what's so crazy too. Uh, she talks about obviously Mamdani talking about the show, which was crazy, and reality TV in general. She said that she doesn't see herself raising kids on reality TV or doing that chapter on reality TV, but it's really great for her right now as a single girl living in New York. So bitch, she ain't going no motherfucking where. The last thing that she says in this article is that she wants to be clear. She's always grateful and thankful for reality TV. She feels like she's met her greatest friends from reality TV, and it's truly taught me so much about myself and who I am and what I can endure. It made me change in the best ways. It's given me the confidence that I have today and some of the greatest moments of my life. I wouldn't have been able to buy my grandparents' house if it wasn't for reality TV, and I'm really thankful for it. Um, amazing interview. Good job, Hunter. Like I just I love this whole interview, all the questions, and make sure you sign up for the Substack where she talks about more things, and she talks about being caught in front of Hermes. And she was like, "You listen, like I was on the phone with Paige for a while, and she's like, I didn't expect it. She didn't know what to do. She was out and about, but it's fabulous." And I'm like, "Ugh, what a woman. Ciara, you are everything, everything. And I cannot wait to see where you go from here because it's only up. And I can honestly speak for both of us. We have been in your corner since day one.
Always.
Obviously. We saw you since the beginning, middle, throughout the end, and we are in your side. And this was an amazing, and Hunter, oh my God, this was a great article. Everyone did the damn thing from fashion and makeup and wardrobe to the questions to this being edited down and even the person who gave up her home so this could be a thing. Like I'm so glad that she took this route. It is a great first speech, and everything about it was amazing. What did you think that there was something that you would have loved to hear her speak on that she hasn't spoken on yet?
Um, no, honestly, I think we've heard enough as far as just like a we got a genuine reaction. What more do you want? Like, do you want like an an ABC movie about it? I'm like I don't know what more you want. We already got the reaction and like it's happening in real time right now. So I think the
Yeah,
entire interview, the article was unapologetically vulnerable, unapologetically organic, and unapologetically black. And I think that in this contemporary American society, that's really all that we can ask for right now.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate you coming with me to break down this article. I appreciate everyone for watching or listening to this. Make sure that you follow Philip. Let them know where to follow you.
And Phillip Solomon underscore, because just my name was taken. So screw that guy.
And make sure you follow me at Bravo Wild Black, and I will be back soon. Thank you. And thank you for talking with me. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.